Good morning, friends. Welcome to today's daily Dharma. I'm having this feeling just now as I say this. Didn't I just say that yesterday? I think as we get older, time goes by quickly. I heard someone say once, if you get to live to be 85, by the time you're that old, it feels like you're eating breakfast every 15 minutes. I think that might be true. Yesterday, we started to explore compassion, uh, which came as a kind of a natural progression from looking at dukkha, right? Because when we connect with dukkha, experience dukkha the way the Buddha suggested we do, uh, then the natural outcome of that connection with the suffering, the unsatisfactoriness in this world, the vulnerability of being in this world, that the natural outcome of that is compassion. And yesterday we talked about just having this somatic approach, this laying the hands on the body as a way to comfort, as a way to literally express self compassion when things are difficult, when there's some sort of suffering in the mind, but also in the body, right? You hurt some part of your body, what happens? Right? The other hand usually goes right onto it, right? To protect it, to soothe it, to ease it. Yeah. So the sense of the hand and the palm being a source of uh, compassion or an expression of compassion. So let's go ahead and go right into the formal practice, and we can start with that, but also going to start to move on and practice in other ways. So being nice and relaxed, as we go into any of the Brahma Vihara practice, it's good to be really a sense of soft and relaxed, at ease. Taking a moment to allow the body to soften and relax. Being present for that, feeling it. And we can begin just by turning our attention to the heart. Yes, the compassion practice is a heart practice. So once we've got our attention in the body, feeling the body, go ahead and then direct your attention to where you feel your heart center is. Let your attention come to rest there. And notice what sensations, if any, you feel in that part of your body. Give it time. Maybe you don't feel anything discernible right away, but after leaving the attention there and just letting the attention be steady there, some sensations might be noticed. You can also expand your attention. So let's say you thought your heart center was indeed kind of that classical place, the left center upper chest. You don't really feel anything there. You might widen it. What about if you felt the whole torso? So feeling the heart center and the whole torso at the same time. So it's another way to approach it. course, putting the hands on, so putting a palm with both hands over the heart center as a way to connect. As I mentioned yesterday, perhaps there's just this slight tilting, just a half a degree forward from vertical. It's a sense of feeling held by the hands. And another way of connecting with the heart center. So there's touch, there's the attention at the heart center, there's touch, and then there's breathing. Breathing through the heart center, or imagining you're breathing through the heart center. What does each in and out breath, how does it affect the heart center, if at all? These are all ways to just connect the heart kind of as a foundation. As I mentioned yesterday, a foundation for the practice, and we can continue to use them, whether it's the hands touching the heart, the attention resting at the heart center, or the imagined breathing in and out of the heart center. If you really resonate with one of these approaches, you can continue to use it. And now, I want you to bring to mind some recent or even current, sort of, could be kind of ongoing, eh, just ouch in your life. Something you said, or something someone said to you, something you did, someone did to you, situation at work, the family, the loved one, something that caused you to feel badly in some way. Feel fearful, anxious, upset, angry, agitated, worried, left out, singled out. Maybe don't choose the most intense one, just some little, a niggling one. For instance, I'm going to use, a little while ago, I gave a Dharma talk and I just presented something in a way that I wish I had done differently. Just that feeling of contraction around that, maybe a little worry of being judged, etc. So bring that to mind and see if you can connect with that in your body. Probably going to be some contraction somewhere. See if you can feel that, maybe in the belly. The heart center might feel tight. Solar plexus, maybe the throat even feels a little closed or tight. Maybe you notice your hands, maybe just tightening a little bit. As you bring this situation or event to mind, connecting with that, feeling it as the suffering state it is. And in this connecting with it, in this saying yes, basically, yes, this is happening or has happened. Yes, this is the impact that it's having. Right there, even is just a being with, isn't it? This willingness to say yes to the difficulty and the suffering in our lives. Just that in itself is huge. And as we say yes, now we can begin to, could say, hold the suffering, feeling it in the body, holding it with our mindfulness, touching it with our mindfulness, and then touching it with compassion. It could be a literal touching with a hand, again, somewhere, wherever you feel it might be tight in your body as you bring this situation or event to mind. It's like, here we are, human being, subject to these mind states, subject to other people's behavior, unskillful behavior, subject perhaps to our own unskillful behavior, subject to dependent co-arising, the vulnerability of anything happening at any time. Subject of living in this world of change and loss. Loss of a favorite pet, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a friend, either through that being actually dying or the relationship being ruptured in some way. We're subject to this, as all human beings are. This is how it is. This is how it is in general, and in regard to this specific incident or event, this is how it is right now with us. Fear, anger, worry, grief, sadness. Just being with it, staying steady, soft, compassionate, tender connection with ourselves, with this mind state, whatever it is, this particular form of suffering. Maybe there's words, maybe not. Words like, it's okay, I've got you, I care about you, I care about this suffering. I won't abandon you. Sometimes particular words will arise in the heart and mind that can express this sentiment or this mind state of self-compassion. Just one other kind of technique or something you can do. So there's the actual touch of our hands on our body. Then there's also imagined touch. Sense of maybe being held or, softly stroked or whatever might be helpful to cultivate this sense of this suffering being tended to, held, touched, cared for. You're staying as steady with that as you can, with mindfulness, with compassion. Maybe the feeling of whatever the suffering mind state is shifts in some way, maybe not. Just noticing, being with. Now letting go of any memory or visual of this event or experience that caused the suffering. Just sitting quietly for some moments connected to this mind state, this feeling of compassion, in this case towards oneself. Perhaps this sense of sitting here being bathed with one's compassion. Continuing to bring the attention to the heart center, touch the heart center, breathe through the heart center. That's helpful. And now bringing to mind the fact that all human beings are subject to this suffering in so many ways and forms, physical, emotional, slash mental, not because they've done anything wrong, but because they were born, because this is part of the realm that we live in, this experience of suffering. And extending whatever compassion out towards other beings, human beings, other living beings that we feel, not pushing it, just seeing what might want to extend to others. It can be helpful to form the intention to notice this thing, even little nigglings during our day. Let me be aware. Let me know. Let me connect and feel these little sufferings when they come up. And then when you notice it, see if you can frame it with the correct view, like, oh, here this is, and this meaning this isn't just mine, this is part of a much larger, it's just the way it is, this is one flavor of the soup that we are all in this realm. It really takes the personalness, that's a word, out of it, right? You didn't do anything wrong or bad to end up feeling this way. There might be behaviors that we want to look at or whatever, but in general, it's going to happen if we were born and move through this life. So you can practice with that as you go through your day. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Continue to work with this, cultivating the mind state of compassion. Okay, I wish you well till then. Bye-bye.